Have you ever noticed how a small part of your effort seems to bring the majority of the results? Maybe a few key clients drive most of your business revenue, or a couple of productive hours each day seem to accomplish more than the rest of the day combined. This is no coincidence. It's the Pareto principle at work, also known as the 80-20 rule. This powerful concept has the potential to change your life and your business if you learn how to use it effectively. The Pareto principle originated over a century ago, when Vilfredo Pareto, an Italian economist, observed that 80% of Italy's land was owned by 20% of the population. Interestingly, Pareto noticed a similar pattern in his garden. 20% of the pea pods produced 80% of the peas. Over time, this principle was found to apply to many areas of life and business. The core idea is simple. A small percentage of inputs produces a disproportionate percentage of outputs. The exact numbers don't matter. It could be 90-10 or 75-25, but the principle remains the same. A few things matter a lot more than the rest. The beauty of the 80-20 rule is that it applies almost everywhere. Think about your wardrobe. How often do you wear 20% of your clothes compared to the rest? Or consider your smartphone apps. Most of your screen time probably goes to a handful of them. Even in your relationships, a few key people likely bring you the majority of your happiness. The Pareto principle is everywhere, and the more you recognize it, the more you can use it to your advantage. Let's start with business, where the Pareto principle can completely revolutionize your approach. For example, in almost every company, 20% of the customers generate 80% of the revenue. These are your VIPs, the customers who keep your business thriving. Instead of spreading your efforts evenly, focus on these key customers. Build loyalty programs, offer exclusive perks, and make sure their experience is as smooth and rewarding as possible. The same applies to products. If you analyze your sales, you'll likely find that a few top-selling products bring in the majority of your profits. These are the products you should prioritize in marketing, refining, and expanding. Consider this example. Imagine you're running an online store with 50 products. After checking your analytics, you discover that 10 of those products account for 80% of your revenue. Instead of wasting time promoting the less popular items, double down on your best sellers. Invest in better advertising for those products, gather customer feedback to make them even better, and explore ways to create complementary items. By focusing your energy on the vital few, you can maximize your results while minimizing effort. Now, let's talk about time management, one of the most transformative areas for applying the 80-20 rule. Time is your most valuable resource, and how you spend it determines your success. Many of us fall into the trap of being busy instead of productive, tackling low-value tasks just to check them off our to-do lists. But here's the secret. Not all tasks are created equal. A small fraction of your daily tasks will produce the majority of your results. Identify these high-impact activities and make them your top priority. For instance, if you're a business owner, closing deals and building client relationships might be the tasks that truly drive your success. Yet, it's easy to get bogged down in trivial tasks, like organizing files or tweaking your website layout. By focusing on the tasks that yield the greatest returns, you can achieve far more in less time. Start each day by identifying your top priorities, the 20% of tasks that will produce 80% of your results, and tackle them first, even if they're challenging. This approach ensures you're always working on what matters most. The Pareto principle also applies beautifully to personal life, especially when it comes to happiness and relationships. Think about your social circle. Chances are, a handful of people bring you the majority of your joy and support. These are the relationships you should cherish and nurture. On the flip side, if there are relationships that drain your energy or add little value to your life, it's okay to let them fade. By focusing on your most meaningful connections, you'll find more fulfillment and less stress. Even in your leisure time, the 80-20 rule can guide you toward greater happiness. Take a moment to reflect on your hobbies and activities. Which ones leave you feeling genuinely refreshed and fulfilled? And which ones are simply time fillers? For example, you might enjoy scrolling through social media, but does it leave you feeling better afterward? Probably not. On the other hand, reading a book or spending time outdoors might bring you lasting satisfaction. By prioritizing the activities that truly enrich your life, you can make your free time more meaningful. When it comes to health and fitness, the Pareto principle is a game changer. Many people overcomplicate their fitness routines, trying to follow dozens of trends or track every calorie. But in reality, a few key habits are responsible for the majority of your results. For example, cutting out sugary drinks or committing to 30 minutes of exercise a few times a week can make a huge difference. Instead of agonizing over minor details, focus on the big wins that truly impact your health. Here's another powerful area where the 80-20 rule can transform your life. Habit building. Our brains resist change, and building new habits takes time and effort. Instead of trying to overhaul your entire routine at once, focus on one high-impact habit that aligns with your goals. For example, if you want to improve your health, prioritize exercising regularly before worrying about smaller habits like drinking more water. Once that habit sticks, move on to the next one. This step-by-step approach increases your chances of long-term success. A great real-world example of the Pareto principle comes from Sarah, a freelance graphic designer. At first, Sarah took on every project she could, working long hours on a mix of low-paying and high-paying jobs. She was constantly busy but barely making ends meet. Then she discovered the 80-20 rule. Sarah analyzed her workload and realized that most of her income came from a few high-paying clients and branding projects. She decided to focus exclusively on those types of jobs. By specializing in her most lucrative work and saying no to smaller projects, Sarah doubled her income while cutting her work hours in half. The lesson? Working smarter beats working harder. Even when it comes to finances, the Pareto principle can help you make smarter decisions. Instead of pinching pennies on small expenses, focus on reducing your biggest costs. For example, negotiating a lower rent or refinancing your mortgage can save you thousands of dollars, far more than cutting out your daily coffee. Similarly, when paying off debt, prioritize the highest interest debts first. These are the financial equivalents of the vital few. They have the greatest impact on your overall financial health. The 80-20 rule even applies to learning and information processing. Think about all the content you consume: books, articles, videos. Often, 20% of the material contains 80% of the value. By identifying the key takeaways and focusing on those, you can learn faster and retain more. For example, when reading a book, don't feel pressured to read every word. Skim for the most important ideas, and you'll get the same value in less time. This principle is especially useful in today's world, where we're bombarded with information. Instead of trying to absorb it all, focus on the insights that truly matter. In conclusion, the Pareto principle is not just a productivity hack, it's a mindset. It's about recognizing that a small percentage of efforts lead to the majority of results, and using that insight to focus on what truly matters. Whether you're running a business, managing your time, or improving your health, the 80-20 rule can help you achieve more with less effort. The key is to identify your vital few, the 20% of actions, people, or habits that create 80% of your success, and give them your full attention. So, how can you start applying the 80-20 rule today? Begin by taking stock of your life and asking yourself one simple question: what's my 20%? Once you identify it, focus on it relentlessly. By doing so, you'll unlock new levels of productivity, happiness, and success. And do you know what is the only activity that requires 1% of strength and will bring 99% of results? Well, it's to subscribe to this channel right now so you don't miss future videos. Trust me, and you'll see that your life will change immediately. And let me know with a comment in a few months how you will have changed. See you soon.